Ike, what's going on, brother? Welcome back from the tropical island of I forgot the name already.
Grenada, man, Grenada.
Nada. Dude, you showed us the pictures of a beautiful island paradise, man. Y'all lived in I was jealous, bro. I was like, man, in the middle of winter, they are enjoying the sun right now. And you took
Yeah,
the whole family.
yeah, man. It was a great trip. Obviously, we want to go under different circumstances, but I think we were able to still, have a great time while we were down there, enjoy a little bit of paradise, and that's exactly what it was, man. I mean, we were waking up to 195-degree views of just being able to kind of see the ocean and tropical trees, and it was just a beautiful experience. There were elements of the trip that were quite scary at times.
Like that plane ride, that little small plane.
No. The plane ride was fine. It was actually a large plane that we rode in on because
Oh,
we
okay.
came straight up from JFK. So yeah, the plane ride was comfortable.
Okay.
That wasn't the issue. It was just when you get there, it was the driving, right?
Mm.
So I step off the plane, it's about 85 degrees, and I didn't stop sweating from the time that that I got there. So, but it was, it was a really great time, great experience, and look forward to going back.
Yeah, man, definitely. And again, man, definitely prayers and positive thoughts, man, and everything to your wife's family and to your family for sure, man. I out of that trip, man, all I can think about is your kids, bro, will never well, Eli might in the other one, but the older kids will never forget, man, this trip.
Yeah, and I think even Eli and Zoe, they'll remember it. Eli,
Yeah.
I think every day since we've been back, he's been asking to go back to Grenada. Like so,
Like it's around the corner, right? Like,
right,
oh,
right.
we go back.
Like, how we gonna get there? The airplane. Like, oh, okay.
Just have no sense of like having to pay for things. They're just like, hey, you want to go? We
Yeah,
going.
I mean, pay and time.
Yeah.
It's not a quick trip. I mean, we spent it's a 5-hour flight from New York City. So for us, we had to, on the way back, we flew into New York City, which is about 5.5 hours. Then we had a 4-hour layover, which
Really?
you would
With
think
little
that's a lot.
kids, bro?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's the other aspect we could talk about. But
Yeah.
you would think 4.5 hours is a lot of time to have to wait in the airport. But literally, from the time that we got to the airport, we had to get our bag. We had to go through customs. Like anytime you come out of the country, you have to go through customs twice, essentially.
Yeah.
So we did that. It took us after we went through customs. It took us another, I would say, hour and a half, maybe, to actually get our bags. I'm not sure why
Yeah.
that took so long. It was OD.
Yeah.
You get your bags, and then you have to go through another area where they scan your bags again. I'm like, I thought y'all just did this, right?
Yeah.
Take them off, and then you have to go around the corner, drop off your checked baggage, and then go back through the security checkpoint to get back on another plane. So that whole process probably took us about, I would say, 2 hours, 45 minutes. And then we didn't eat since we got on the plane at 2 o'clock, or we had breakfast, I think, that morning. So had to find the kids some food.
Yo,
Able to eat, and then by the time,
expensive in the airport. I'm
yeah,
just gonna
oh
say it.
yeah,
Oh my gosh. I mean,
it's
hey,
OD.
it's
In
man.
JFK, yeah.
I paid $20, man, for some cheese and crackers, man, and a water and a tea, bro.
Oh, they got you.
$20, man.
Yeah,
I'd
they
have
got
just
you.
been
$20.
hungry. I would I would have just
I
been
should have
hungry.
fasted, man.
But we know
Read
you
my
wasn't
Bible.
gonna be hungry though. We
You
know
already knew I was
Gotta
gonna be
eat.
hungry, man. And look, man, I can't get on the plane without. Nah, man. I know we joking, man. I'm serious, man. I'm not going on the plane not having eaten, bro. It's just not a good looks, man. It is not a good looks. Yo, I hate it when people bring on these subs, man, with like onions, or they eat like smelly food on the plane, man. I be looking. I literally look right at them. Like I know you're not gonna eat this right now. Like we all smell this, and your breath gonna be stink too. Like, come on,
We
man.
got
Like,
in the mask, so you know.
hey, some people, man, when onions hit they lips, man.
Onions is
It
one
ain't
of those
it
food that
ain't the
like
Holy Ghost.
stays in your pores. So I mean, if you eat enough onions when you're taking a shower, you'll smell that. That's a potent vegetable right there, man.
Yeah, it is, man. Yeah, it is. Well, we got the birthday man on the line. Happy birthday, bro.
Yes, sir. What is this?
Yeah.
41? Year 41?
20, yeah, four. I was gonna say 21, but all right, step 4-1.
We'll take it, or
No, the
Another
other
way.
way.
however y'all
Yeah,
want to do it.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Either way,
It's a
it's
blessing,
another
man.
day, man.
Yeah, man.
It's a good day.
I am extremely look. I see my bro on here, Justin, man. You know, listen, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate brother Corey Johnson. We appreciate you, bro.
What's up, big homie?
You know, it is. It's been an emotional day. I cannot.
Yeah.
Run on
What
it.
happened?
Well, it's my first birthday without my dad and my brother. You know,
Yeah.
and you know, man, I miss those dudes, man. I was talking to my wife last night. She asked me, you know, she could tell I was kind of having a moment about it, and I just told her, you know, I was approaching it with in the posture that, you know, the word says, you know, I shall bless the Lord at all times, and His praise shall continually be in my mouth. What I think everyone needs to take away from that scripture is at all times. That depicts or denotes that praise is not a circumstantial or a situational posture that we choose. You know what I mean? It is one that is at times like this. It's even sacrificial. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you know, the juxtaposition of a day like today, I think, is significant as well as it relates to it. Because I'm grateful for another year. I'm grateful for another day. You know, the Winans. My favorite song by the Winans is "Millions Didn't Make It," but I was one of the ones who did. So you know, I'm grateful to be one of the ones who was in the number that, you know, woke up this morning. You know what I mean? I think about Betty White was planning. Today would have been Betty White's 100th birthday, and she was planning a huge 100th birthday celebration, and she didn't make it to this point. So I don't take for granted that that the Lord woke me up this morning. I'm appreciative, but it's also hard to not think about my brother and my dad on today. So so as grateful as I am, my praise and thanks today is also somewhat sacrificial because I had to fight through some tough emotions in order to, you know what I mean, in order to give God glory and praise for waking me up today.
Yeah.
Speaking of birthdays too, guess we wanted to shout out our manager who had a birthday yesterday.
Happy birthday, man!
Melanated Magic, happy birthday!
Yeah. So, Deirdre, happy birthday to you.
That's why. See that? Okay, I get it. Yo,
Sands is there.
Happy birthday! You know what I'm saying? Shout out. I appreciate it, bro. Appreciate you, Sands.
Yo, so today, man, want to kind of do some pleasantries first, man. I want to say a happy Founders Day. I know it was a few days ago. To my wife, a sorority member of Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated. I just want to say I love you, baby. And to many more. And ain't nothing like that fire and ice. So I want to shout her out for that, for her Founders Day.
No doubt. Happy Founders Day, sis. and while we on it, you know what I mean. Shout out to Pi Beta, man. Yo, listen, yo, Pi Beta Rho Alpha. You know what I'm saying? We got the chapter.
Man, we got history, man. Pi Beta.
It's
We got
always
history.
been love. It's always love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So shout out to Pi Beta. You know what I mean? And the Rochester alumni chapter. You know what I mean? Delta
Sure.
Beta. You know what I mean? You know, Delta's everywhere, but you know what I mean. You know, big shout out. You know what I mean? To the home team, man, because you know what I mean. The love has always been there. Always good vibes, great vibes. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
You know, shout out to Pi Beta and the Rochester alumni chapter, Delta Sigma Theta.
And we want to shout out to the First Fam. Also,
you already know.
For sure.
You already know.
Well.
Shout out to Big Sis Christine, Doc Christine,
my special.
Richards, you know what I'm saying? Who her daughter, China.
Yeah, China.
Like, yo, it's crazy when you see the babies growing up like
man, they were kids, man, when we were coming up. They were kids,
so
bro.
Shout out to China on last semester. So this was her first Founders Day. You know, and again, so shout out to Delta Nu Omega chapter, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. You know, again, AKs all over, but you know what I mean? Listen, DNO, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt.
You know,
shout out to my mom, my auntie, my cuz, and a handful of people down south. And we also want to shout out, since I saw Corey is here. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. Zeta, Phi Beta. We also want to shout them out on their Founders Day as well.
Listen, shout out to tAlk for Zeta chapter. That's one of the alumni chapters. Psi Omega Zeta, the other Rochester alumni chapter of Zeta Phi Beta. And yo, listen, yo, again, just good, you know what I'm saying? Just good vibes, you know what I mean?
Just good people all around, man.
Yeah,
I think that's the best way to point it out, bro. Just good people all around.
Listen, gotta shout out the undergrads, you know what I'm saying? Listen,
yeah, for sure.
Yo, Chi Lambda, listen, yo, we used to, you know what I'm saying? Just again, always good energy, good vibes, you know what I'm saying? Back in, you know what I mean, in the undergrad days, you know what I mean? Just so Chi Lambda, man, much love to Chi Lambda, you know what I'm saying? You know, RIT, U of R, you know what I mean? The city chapter, you know what I mean? So much love to Chi Lambda.
No doubt. And then, you know, we also want to
Here you go.
He knew I was about to go into it.
I was waiting for it.
Yeah, I want to shout out to our sons, Kappa Alpha Psi, Phi Beta Sigma, all the fraternities. Want to shout y'all out, man.
January is a popular month, man. You know, only the real can do it in December.
It's all love for the people that's watching that's not affiliated with Black Greek culture.
Man,
it's all love. But the truth, the facts are the facts.
Listen. I'm gonna take the real humble road on my birthday and just say, you know, I'm with it. I shout out to some brothers that, you know what I'm saying, I'm tight with, man. That's K side. But big bro Vince Felder, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Vince.
Vince was that dude, man.
Still doing it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, my man Chris Carwell. Shout out to my brother.
Yeah, I was about to say Chris Good News, you know what I mean?
His little brother.
Matt Wagstaff.
Yeah, that's the homie right there. Yeah.
My brother Rashad, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Listen, if y'all know Rashad, you know what I'm saying? Good brother.
Good dude. Yeah.
And my man Greg Salmon, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to those brothers.
Yes, sir.
Much love.
Yeah.
Definitely shout out bRho and Dr. Nelms, man.
Yes.
Phi Beta Sigma doing their thing.
Yes. Joe Carter.
Yo, I see Brother Willie's on. Thank you for the shout out. Bro. Much appreciated. You know what I mean? Again, it's a blessing.
Hey man, listen, brother Robinson, man, you and your wife, man, look like y'all get younger every day, man. Let me know the formula so that I can get younger, man, as I get older, man. Y'all looking good, bro.
Listen, man, you got it, man. Listen, clean living, clean. You know what I'm saying? Clean living. You know, God is the keeper.
Yeah. and a
So
sustainer.
no more little Debbie snacks, man.
Yeah, maybe like once a month, but
Keep it light. Keep it light.
in moderation. Hey,
Yes,
brother.
sir.
So it's Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Today is a day that we celebrate him. We definitely celebrate the brother that's closest to us that's here today, Lil Smith. So usually this is the day when organizations, businesses come together, universities, schools are normally secondary schools are out to honor Martin Luther King. And if anybody knows a little bit of history about Martin Luther King, he was the I don't know what I just did. Oh, okay, there we go. He was the one of the most hated men before he died, and this is somebody that we celebrate today with nonviolence, and um, we commemorate all of the marches and the speeches, and just the way that he lived his life publicly. And also, we celebrate him as a brother of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Each year, I mention that. I hear folks like, man, like, oh, I didn't know that. But yeah, he definitely cared about his fraternity very much. And so I wanted to know, like, any thoughts, any memories, or any quotes or anything like that. When you think of this day, like, what's going through your mind?
Yeah, I mean, you always got that famous speech, right? You know, the dream speech that I think comes up every year when people talk about MLK. And but his life was so much more than that. And I think one of the biggest things I always think about when I think about him is when you think about MLK, like, and you talk about all the things he did, you would think he's like a 50-year-old man you're talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this brother, did all this in his 20s. Like, he was making moves, early on in life, getting his doctorate degree early on in life, and really like leading the charge for, a people, in his 20s, and in his late 20s. So that's one of the things that always stands out to me. Going back to the initial point, like the dream speech, like one of my favorite quotes from him is, you can kill the dreamer, but you can't kill the dream, right? And I don't take that from the perspective of just civil rights. I've been really kind of introspecting lately, and that quote has kind of stuck with me. Because I think at certain points of our life we have different goals, we have different things that we're trying to reach, different opportunities that we're trying to go after, and we have different dreams that we're trying to obtain. And I think a lot of times we let life get in the way of us continuing to, chase after those dreams.
I agree.
As adults, we don't have that same mindset as we would as a child, thinking about all the things that we want to do. I want to be a basketball player. I want to be a football player. I want to do X, Y, and Z. And as we get older, life kind of starts to get in the way of those things. So, for me, this year is really about, chasing dreams, right? And, I think we mentioned, you were talking about New Year's resolutions and, that type of stuff in the couple previous episodes. But, for me, it's really figuring out, identifying what it is that I want to do, right? And really starting to put steps in place to make those things happen. Like, as adults, we have to continue to dream. Like, we have to continue to think outside of this proverbial box that we live in, and saying, this is our limit, this is our cap, this is what I have to do, these are the limitations I have based on the circumstances that I'm in, and really start to look outside of that and continue to chase that dream. So, for me, I kind of look at it from a different perspective. It's not just, he wasn't just talking about civil rights. For me, it was more so about life, and making sure that you live your life. So keep
Yeah.
dreaming.
Hey man, you hit on a great point about dreaming. There comes a point where our imagination dwindles down to nearly nothing because we're so consumed by life and consumed by experiences and triumphs and failures, to where now we only look at things as, well, what is the reality of the situation, or this is just reality. Or I've caught myself saying, oh, I'm a realist. And I felt like I just said it because it sounded good on a movie. But in essence, I'm really a dreamer because in my mind, anything is possible.
Right.
We say it, we believe it, we put it down to pen and paper, and it can be done. And we've lost that as people, right? Because yes, he had a dream. I mean, and his dream, quite honestly, was complicated. And you listen to the dream, and I'm sure at that time they're probably like, "Well, how that gonna happen?"
I mean, we're still trying to figure it out, right?
We are.
The
We
dream
are.
hasn't been realized, you know.
Yeah.
We're still trying to figure it out.
Well, and I to that point, I think it's important to note this that oftentimes when oftentimes you know what I mean, people to Kareem's point earlier that MLK was one of the most hated men in this country at the point in time he was assassinated. He wasn't assassinated because of his dream in that speech. That you know what I mean? 2 years after that speech, 3 years after that speech, like, I challenge anybody to study not MLK. Don't study the MLK up to the "I Have a Dream" speech. Study the MLK post
Yeah.
the "I Have a Dream" speech.
Right.
The
Pour
last
people's
5
heart.
years of his life.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Study
Sanitation
that
workers.
MLK.
Yeah.
Where he talks about the ballad of the bullet. You know what I mean? Like where he starts to
Vietnam.
embrace
Yeah.
a position that's much more controversial than this. Oh, you know what I mean? He's been whitewashed in a lot of ways because the "I Have a Dream" speech is one that's
It's fluffy, man. Like,
well, no,
yeah.
it works. It works for status quo. Anybody
Yeah.
who
It's
is
great.
is a proponent of the status quo, the "I Have a Dream" speech works for them. It fits that narrative.
Yeah.
But
he was coming for their neck in the last 5 years, though. Real talk.
Listen, and that's where one of probably my favorite quote from him is derived from. Is from one of his last speeches, and it was a speech that he gave about Vietnam or
That he
whatnot.
won the Grammy for, right? He won
I
the
believe
award
so.
for it. Mm-hmm.
But again, if you just in one of his last interviews prior to his assassination, he said he matter of fact, it was in his one of his last books. He said, I fear my dream has become a nightmare. So when people who are in love with
this one right here,
yes sir, where do we go from here? You know what I mean? He talks about how his dream has become a nightmare, and he says, I fear I have led my people into a burning house.
Oof.
Because people follow this dream and this idea that that we, you know what I mean, hey, let's be kumbaya, and desegregation hurt our community in so many ways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But by then the proponents of the status quo had figured out like this version, this message works for us. So we don't want people to get, you know what I mean? When MLK was assassinated, he was assassinated in Memphis for a sanitation worker strike because they were protesting being paid equal wages.
Right.
The campaign was called "I Am a Man." You know
I am a man. That's it.
He was talking about equity as it related to payment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people, again, this whole "I Have a Dream" stuff, and I'm not mad at it. I've been and I've toured the Dream Center in Atlanta.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, you know what I mean, and it's powerful. You know what I'm saying?
Been to the hotel in Memphis? You take your kids there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every time I go to Memphis, I tour. Yeah. I tour the Lorraine. You know what I mean?
Is the hospital still up? Did they tear it down? I want to go to the hospital there that he died in. And the people that don't know, there's information out now, because of
not information.
Have been redacted.
The truth is that he was not dead when he arrived at the hospital.
That's
true. He was suffocated. You know what I mean? Under a pillow.
Yeah.
He was suffocated under a pillow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Freedom of Information Act, makes this information.
Thanks, Latoya. I knew you would know. Appreciate you.
Yes, you know what I mean. So absolutely, you know what I mean. It is such that these are the things that we gotta, you know what I'm saying? We gotta really get.
Did you hear the story about Lorraine, the lady that owned? I think she's a black lady that owned the hotel. Man, she died of grief that this happened at her hotel. When I went there, I was reading up on it, and man, like, and I want to get back to your point, man, about like Dr. Martin Luther King, along, because we know that he had a team. So he didn't do these things by himself. We know that he had a team. We know that there were folks that were working in different organizations and all that, right? And one of the things I realized, man, is you have to be a dangerous person if you can galvanize Black people, poor whites, and I'm just using the terms that those terms back then, and then Latinos,
and Bernie Sanders,
bro. Like, that's dangerous for somebody to be able to galvanize all those groups to come together under one cause. Like that would scare any government. I mean, that's like.
Well, let me say this. Let me say this, because I think you're absolutely right. But I think what happens now, what's important to understand, it's important to understand, and then it's also important to learn from, right? So you had, contemporaries. So you had MLK and Malcolm X, who were contemporaries, who for many years did not agree with on the same as it related to the approach or how we should go about, equality and civil, civil rights and whatnot. They didn't agree. You know what I mean? But again, there was space enough for everybody. Like, right. You know what I mean? Like, if we don't agree, it's man, we bash and we, you know what I mean? And to an extent, like they had their philosophical differences, and there were comments made. You know what I mean?
The press was always trying to pit them against each other, though.
Absolutely, but they weren't the first. I mean, Booker T. Washington, and and Du Bois, they had, you know what I'm saying, philosophical.
Yeah. It's a pattern, man. Why we don't see that pattern? That's a pattern.
But this is my thing, right? Is we go so far and hard with it now, like, you know what I mean, like we're not even able to get anything accomplished because we will put so much energy into destroying somebody's name who's out there putting, you know what I mean, putting in that work.
Bro, nobody wants to be a Black Messiah, though. They got the ones we had got killed, right? You don't even want that status. I mean, it might be called something else now, but at the time, yeah. Why would somebody want to come forth? Jesse Jackson wasn't about to come and do that, right? He would be the next person.
Jesse was young at the time of
he was young
assassination,
right?
He was like a college. He was still in college just after college. You know what I mean? And so he had his time.
And not to take nothing away from Jesse, I'm just just an example.
He certainly had his time where his message of hope and inspiration was mobilized. But I think one of the positions that we have to embrace is the idea that again, even if we differ on our philosophical approach of how we need to go about doing it, I think the reality is that until we have a multi-pronged approach towards this, you know what I mean? We need a militia and an infantry. I've been to the gun range, and guess what, man? You go to the gun range and you'll see folks in there who don't look like you, and you read between the lines on what that means, and they got their kids in there, 10, 12 years old, and they, teaching them. You know what I mean? Listen, if we do not prepare our, you know what I mean? There's so many levels, and so many ways, and we know it was by design, it wasn't by accident, but there's a work that we have to do to come together in order to make this happen, and it just, and we just got to get a lot more, connected and organized and unified to see it happen. You know what I mean? You know,
Yes. So at this point of our history, right? Do we need a national leader or an international leader, or do we just need our local communities to come together under a shared message? Like what do we think is kind of that path forward? Because like Kareem said, I don't think anyone is going to kind of step up and kind of take on that role at this point, and I don't know that that is what is needed at this stage of
well,
this stage in our lifetime. So
to some degree, I feel like when I look at teams, right? Successful teams have leadership, successful, good quality leadership at the top. You know what I mean? But to your point about, do we need some, some major leader now to kind of emerge as that person? Well, that wasn't MLK. MLK wasn't, you know what I mean? An established leader. You know what I mean? He was a local pastor. You know what I mean? When he got elected to lead the Montgomery bus boycott, he was pastoring the church. He had just begun pastoring the church in Montgomery, Alabama. Um, and here it was, the right set of circumstances that, you know what I mean, created an opportunity for them to get this young and emboldened, you know what I mean, pastor to take, you know what I mean, take head and take helm of this. You know what I mean? He wasn't, Malcolm X was not, you know what I mean? He wasn't Elijah Muhammad. He was somebody who had a passion for, you know what I mean, his community, and the changes that he saw possible through, you know what I mean, through what his what Elijah Muhammad had taught him. And he didn't, so I think there needs to be some emergence of leadership, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we need somebody who's established as a leader, because what they do, and one of the things that they've done to also stifle our the growth and progress of our community is they'll find the ones about who do begin to emerge, and they offer them a nice cushy position, a nice cushy life, and so that's oftentimes enough. We you know what I mean? Listen,
Hey, just say it,
Malcolm
bro.
and
Like,
Martin
people
did
gotta
not
be willing to die,
die.
man, for what they believe. People
Yeah,
gotta be willing to die for what they believe.
but no, it's beyond being willing to die. They got to be willing to die not wealthy. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is it's the what's in it meat.
That's the
Malcolm was
point.
not a wealthy man when he was assassinated. Martin Luther King was not a wealthy man when he was assassinated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That I'm not saying they was broke and destitute. I'm saying, if you know their stories, then they weren't cushy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They didn't live, like they wasn't living, in these big Fortune 500 lives and nothing like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we have to have somebody that emerges who's not willing to be bought out. Who's like, you can't buy me out. You know what I mean?
Now let's bring it down back to the local level, which I know Ike was getting at, because I know that's where his passion lies. And what can we do now? There's a quote from Emily that says, "Time is always right to do what is right," and that's what I've been posting today on my social media. So whenever you're asked, or even when you think about it, man, what should I do the right thing? Do it now. And the right thing can look different, right? It can be someone at work makes a comment, right? And you call that person in, opposed to calling them out and try to get an understanding of what they meant by that, right? And racism, calling it out for what it is. Anything, any type of injustice, or when somebody gets killed or hurt in the community, and nobody says anything because the community is knitted together, then we got to do what's right. And what's right is for that family or that person, for there to be justice, right? And it's easier said than done. We definitely understand it, but if we ever gonna move the needle on this thing, we got to start doing some things differently. We can't. We doing the same things over and over again. We having the same speeches over and over again. We having the same pet rallies over and over again, right? But until we can really start charting some progress, then This is where we're going to be at. And you know what? Some people may be okay with that. That's the other reality. Some folks may be okay with that. And I'm not even just talking about. I'm not just talking about maybe white folks who are still stuck in this era to where they still believe that the races should be separated, but theirs should be elevated to the top. Like there's people that still think that even as we live, like living in a neighborhood to where that's just what you know, and that's okay.
I agree. To your point, and I think this quote kind of goes along the lines of yours, Kareem. It says, and this was directly from an MLK speech. It says, on some position, cowardice asks the question, is it safe? Expediency asks the question, is it politic? Vanity asks the question, is it popular? But conscience asks the question, is it right? And there comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular, but one must take it because his conscience tells him it is right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Listen, there's the time to do the right thing is always now. You know what I mean? Listen, that's the time to do what's right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No
fanfare, no glory, no look at me, no Facebook post, no Twitter, TikTok. Just do it. Ain't nobody got to know.
Yeah.
I'm sure between the three of us, we've done something good or done the right thing, and we not blasting it and let everybody know, hey, I did the right thing today. No, like just do it.
And there are people out there like you just said that do things like that all the time, every single day, right? And it goes unnoticed, it goes unchecked. But I think kind of going back to that national stage, that's kind of the reason why you do need that national spokesperson that is going to have that same mindset, model that for the community and everybody else, and not expecting to get something back. We, like you said before, Malcolm didn't die rich, Martin didn't die rich. But I think there's a certain level of compensation that has to happen for anybody that kind of takes on that stage at this point.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying, I'm not saying
I know.
We take advantage. I'm just saying, like, it is to speak to the fact that they couldn't be bought out. You know what I mean? They weren't gonna,
Yeah.
And that's that living and modeling that I'm talking about, right? For you to go out and continue to do good and speak the same message and not whitewash your message and not change your message based on different sponsorships or whatever else that's going to help further the cause. That's that national image that you want. And Brother Robinson mentioned that we need a unified voice, right? There needs to be an agenda. And looking at it from like community-based levels, I think every African-American community probably created a Black agenda for their community, right? But what are those overarching themes that across the nation that we're all going after? If we don't have that a unified voice at a national level, right? How do things get changed? How do things, start to improve? Because the impact is going to happen, at this in the House of Representatives, at the Senate level, right? And that's where policies and bills are made and things are changed and able to be ratified. If we're not getting that if we don't have a consistent national message that people are saying in Memphis, Tennessee, and Rochester, New York, and in Buffalo, and California, then I don't see how any change is really going to happen at a large scale level.
I agree. And shout out to Just Trey, my man. I don't know if y'all remember Trey. He came to Brockport for a while. Listen, matter of fact, shout out to the brother. Is a phenomenal, carpenter. You know what I'm saying?
That's all, man.
Hit him up. But he said, my uncle said we got to be okay with doing well while doing good. That's a fact. We got to be okay with. I'm doing good, but I'm not getting rich off of doing good. You know what I mean? Let me say this, and because I know we over time, but I want to say this to both. I think to everyone's point, right? I realized something this week, right? That integrity is invisible, and that might sound oxymoronic. Like, well, no, what do you mean? How can we know people with integrity, right? Well, yeah, but integrity, basically the way you define integrity is by doing what's right when nobody's looking.
Right.
So integrity is invisible. Now, if you have a relationship with somebody who you know to be integritous, you know what I'm saying? You got to know that over time. You know what I mean? But integrity was something that happened in spaces that we could not see. So you know what I mean? So again, the things that are benevolent, that people are that are on people's heart to do and whatnot, you know, again, go and do it. And I'm not saying I'm not killing anybody that's doing it. And there's a young lady I follow. She's out of California on Instagram. She's got a project that she does for homeless people. I mean, like her Instagram following has allowed her to amass, you know what I'm saying, the resources to be able to, you know, further the work that she's doing with homeless people. So I'm not saying that there's not a time and a place and a space to be able to, you know what I mean, you know, bring awareness and attention to what people are doing. But at the same time, you know what I mean, you know, I'm all in on doing well while doing good. You know what I mean? We everything don't have to be, you know, a selfie and a you know a post, you know what I mean, behind it.
Absolutely.
Man, we can keep going, man, with this topic here, but I wanna leave us with this, man, is that I want to go back to that quote again because I really want it to ring, man. For everybody that's watching, the time is always right to do what is right. So please, everybody that's watching, let's meditate on those words tonight and just think about how we can make somebody's day better. Let's put it on a simpler. Let's just say, just be a friend. You know, help somebody that's in need. Like somebody told me it don't cost you nothing to be kind. Nothing. It's free. So let's do that, man. Let's treat each other better. Let's have the conversations and let's continue to move forward and in honor of his memory and all of the ones who lost their lives during the civil rights movement, Jim Crow era, slavery, coming here from the other side, from the homeland, the home continent.
From everyone's
let's
home
remember
continent.
all of those people. Let's remember Emmett Till. Let's remember all of these folks who gave their lives. And if your children don't know anything about the history of, I'm gonna say, if you're African American and you're watching this, and your kids don't know anything about any of these past leaders, it's time to let them know who they are, because they need to know how they got to this point, because they didn't get here. It wasn't an easy path. People lost their lives. They lost their livelihoods in order for Bilal, Isaac, and Kareem and everyone else to be able to do the things that we're doing today. Let's remember that. Let's shout our people out.
Listen, shout out to Willie. He said, "Don't let your brother become invisible." Another amazing quote. Yes, absolutely.
We got bRho on. We live still, bro. What's good?
Yo, but okay, I'm gonna get these shout outs in, and I got to do something. Yo, we appreciate you, bro. Brother Willie being on, man, and just your input, man, is man, much welcome. Matter of fact, we got to get you on here, brother.
Yeah, if y'all gotta get you on here, bro.
Brother Willie is a mover and a shaker, and has been a mover and shaker in the Rochester community for many years. He's a rock the piece. You know what I mean? Just, you know, listen, we gonna let him get on here. Like, probably if possible next week, brother Willie, if you got time, man, we would love to have you on here and just.
Yo, brother Will, you don't gotta wear a 3-piece suit, frat. I know.
Yeah,
you
listen,
man.
Yeah,
Come comfortable. Come comfortable.
Yeah.
Don't do his back. Now, even see you saying comfortable, like even his sweatsuits match.
I know.
Matching sneakers and everything. You already know.
Yeah. So shout out to brother Willie, man. Shout out to brother Trey for being on. As always, our manager Deirdre.
Blessings.
Chanel family, we appreciate you
Chanel,
being
what's
on.
up?
My Sans, Mike Wilson. Appreciate you, bro, for being on here.
Yes, sir.
I see Ja King, Stephanie Smith. That's Kareem's cousin.
Yeah, what's up, Cuzzo?
Brother Corey. Duke was on here. Much appreciated for the birthday
Yes,
shout
sir.
out, sir. Yeah, I guess I'm officially old man status. And Justin Alexander, I appreciate you, bro. That's my man. Appreciate you.
Hey, I want to shout out. You said Ja King, man. That's Jason King. Hey, brother, I want to shout you out, man. Ever since, man, his brother and I, man, we used to be really close classmates back in the day, man. Definitely want to shout him out. Shout out my man Justo, man. Jason was always rooting for me, man. When I was going to school, acting the fool, cutting up, he was always rooting for me. So, hey, brother,
You
I
wasn't
appreciate you.
cutting up that bad.
Nah. I wasn't. See,
You know what I mean? I'm just saying,
like, look,
you from Gates. You from Gates, man. You ain't cutting up that bad, man.
You wasn't getting no real trouble.
You see, Chanel, you see how they do us? All I was saying. All right, you got it.
You from Gates, baby.
He trying to get help.
Look, they still mad. I had 3 cars.
Like Chanel, they talk about all of us, man. Nah, we talking about you.
Yo, Brew, can I share with the people, or no? You share with the people what you got going on, man. You got big news, man.
No, I ain't got big news, man. I ain't got big news. Okay,
we'll let you. We'll sit on it. We'll sit on it.
Yeah, you got big news. You just had a birthday, man. Happy born day.
Big birthday, man.
Somebody ain't got no big news, man. What you doing? It's your birthday.
Birthday, man. Birthday.
Listen,
right.
as we preparing to get out of here, man. I want to everything we said kind of made me think about this little song right here. It's the theme song to the Golden Girls. I ain't doing it because it's Betty White's birthday, but if you listen to the words, man, this joint powerful, man. I want to thank y'all for being a friend of the show. I want to thank my brothers on here for being my brothers. Again, y'all have helped me, and everybody who, what I'm saying, through a kind word or something. Everybody who's watched, man, y'all have helped me get through the most difficult year of my life. You know what I mean? And that is no understatement or exaggeration. I want to say thank you to my wife, who is, man, been there to, wipe tears and just, encourage me to lift me up. Again, it's been tough, man, getting through this. We coming up on a year of my brother being gone and my father being gone. And so to get to my first birthday without them, man, it was a lot harder than I actually anticipated, you know what I mean? But thank you all for you know what I'm saying? You all have gotten me through this year, so I appreciate y'all. I don't know if y'all can hear it.
Yeah, we can hear it, man. That's that track.
I feel like we should throw some.
And if we do a party,
the white women up on the screen right now.
Hey, I also want to shout out, man.
Biggest gift will be from me, and the card attached will say, "Thank y'all for being my friend."
I think you should have tried to sing it, V.
Nah, that ain't my ministry. So
about G sharp. Hey, before we go, man, I want to shout out, man, our brother, because I think it's been close to a year now. Peterson, Napoleon, Harrison's line brother, and our dear brother, man. Just want to shout out to his memory and his legacy, and also to his wife, as well. Just want to know that our prayers are still with you, and we still think about our brother every single day, as well as Bishop McGee. We miss you, and hey, we're gonna make you proud. We're gonna continue on the legacy.
Yes,
yeah.
Listen, A5 for now. 06 forever.
06 forever, baby. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Love y'all.
Sir.
Peace out to the people.
352, number 5. Shout him out.
Yo, shout out to them Cowboy fans out there.
You a jerk.
Hey.
Yo, we out.
Hey.
Peace. Huh?
Damn,